All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Heroes and Mutant podcast. This is Ruben here with my co-host, Nick.
What's up, everybody?
Josh,
What up, guys? Welcome to episode
Glad to-
3.
How y'all doing?
Pretty good.
That's great.
Glad to be back.
I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys all for joining in and subscribing to us. We appreciate you guys' feedback.
There you go, Nick. There you go. Let them know.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. We're
Y'all ready
nothing
for
without
this?
you.
That's true. That's true.
Don't forget them over there, too. Them over there.
Oh yeah,
Oh, there.
the whole studio.
So y'all ready for this or what?
Yeah, let's do it,
Yes,
man. Let's do it.
Let's get it, man. Let's dive in.
What we got on the schedule today for
So
everybody?
I don't know if you guys saw the new Bloodshot trailer, but what are you guys' thoughts on it? How do you guys think it's going to be? And
It's
if
a new
any-
take to another superhero that's outside of the DC and the Marvel universe.
It really is.
Overall,
Definitely
Vin
is.
Diesel, even though he's Groot for everybody now, we're gonna get another one, which is Bloodshot, which is pretty exciting. Pretty good trailer. I just barely saw it today.
I barely saw it today too. I think it's a pretty good trailer. I'm looking forward to it only because we don't get enough superheroes on screen outside of DC and Marvel. People forget beyond those two companies, there's a world of really interesting
yeah,
comic
most
books.
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Most
Exactly.
definitely, man.
Spawn, the Max. There's so many things.
Everything.
Yeah, it's a Valiant Comics movie, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I
Yes.
believe so.
dude,
Yeah.
it's complete. Like you said, Josh, it's completely different from the MCU or DCU.
And we're getting another rated R movie.
Definitely.
So
See, this
that's
is where the
another
MCU and the DC needs to get into.
Wait,
but
it's
that's a whole
rated R?
different topic. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
rated
it's
R.
rated R.
I could have swore I saw it was PG-13.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was rated R.
I
to
saw
be
it
honest.
rated R.
Well, I could have sworn I saw that it was rated R.
Check it, Rubes.
Check
it.
that
I
out.
will check it out. You know what? But how do you guys feel about Vin Diesel portraying that role though?
I'll be honest with you, my knowledge of Bloodshot is very limited, so
Yeah,
I
same
don't
with me.
feel like I'm an expert enough to say whether or not he's a good choice. He
Okay.
looks good in the trailer. I mean,
Mhm.
it looks
Yeah.
like he fits.
I
So,
mean, for
we'll
me,
see.
as long as he's not like spouting out "Yo, fam" every like 10 seconds, then like we'll be good.
Is that what you think of Vin Diesel?
That's like all he says in all the
Fast and the Furious.
Fast and
Yo,
the Furious
fam, listen
movie.
up, fam. We
Yeah, I
gonna do
don't
this.
mind him. I think he's a great
No.
actor. But
Um,
it stays right here. My bad, Nick. It stays right here that it is a rated R.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
I mean, with all that action pack that we see in the trailer, I would expect it to be at least a
Yeah,
rated
without
R,
a doubt.
especially.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
it looks pretty dope. Like I'm somebody
It's
who
good.
really loves action, like influence movies, and especially the action on there looks really, really dope. Like same thing with like you guys. Like I don't know too much about this character, and it wasn't like a comic that I read at all or had like any knowledge of about like when they were producing it and filming it and everything. I feel like with other like companies, it's a little bit harder for them to like have because they don't have like that marketing that like Marvel anything like characters associated.
Do you
with,
think this
with
movie's
DC.
going to be big or it's going to make money?
I think
I
I
think it
don't
will.
think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna flop, but I don't think it's gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah,
to
it won't be a
honest.
big
So
Because-
do you think the coronavirus is going to hurt it from making money?
Damn.
I think so.
It's
Well, it
already-
did- yeah,
every
it did.
movie
They-
that's coming out.
They've already pulled
It
out a lot
barely
of
came
movies,
out
and like
tonight.
AMC is saying like they're limiting their capacity like minus like to less than 50% of like what they
Yeah.
would normally. So
Oh,
I do think, and then
'Cause
Mulan's coming out. No, like some good movies.
Quiet
are coming out.
Place, which
Two
came
got-
out this week, got postponed, I believe.
a lot of
So,
movies
yeah,
got
a lot of-
postponed.
Yeah, it's like you guys said, it kind of caught me off guard. The trailer, I probably caught it once or twice. I had to refresh in my memory, but I think Vin Diesel will do pretty good. I like the action, like Nick was saying. I really like the action.
He's a good
I'm an
actor.
action kind
Well,
of guy.
early reports are coming in saying that like he gave a good performance. So I do think he's gonna do well. I think it's just the movie isn't, especially with all this like hysteria going on with the coronavirus. I don't think it's gonna do well from a financial standpoint, but I do think it does look like something I definitely would like to watch, especially even just diving into the character from the comics and like the world and that universe and see what it's all about.
The trailer was interesting enough that even if I'd never heard of the character, it
Yeah,
would
you'd
catch
still
my
wanna watch it.
attention.
Yeah,
yeah,
Kinda
yeah,
interested.
Definitely. Yeah, I know I'm going to still watch it.
Like
so.
you said, information about him is pretty vague, so you don't really have much to go by except the trailers. So it does look good. So it's a movie I'll probably
Yeah,
go watch for sure.
Coronavirus or not, I'm definitely going to watch it. And I'll let you guys know how it is.
Yeah.
Especially it being
All
rated
right.
R, like I was saying. You know?
Still talking about the
Sounds a good
topic,
thing.
guys. Sanitize, wash your hands, be careful.
Yeah, y'all be safe out there, man. Y'all be safe. And
Don't
ladies.
panic.
And ladies.
Yeah,
Some
no
people are going
panicking.
over the top with this shit, though.
Stop buying all the toilet paper.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's
And ice cream.
Mhm.
Oh, dude, I
The
did hear
shelves
about
of
that
ice cream.
That's something else. All right, that's something. That's a whole different other topic, guys. How you guys feel about the X-Men movies, though, and the high points that they had and what they can do to fix it.
To be honest, like the favorite movies for me would be X-Men 2, especially just because
Yep.
at the time it was like early
X-Men
2000s.
2.
There wasn't
It
like
really
that.
was the best.
Like they really set up just how good that movie was going to be from the first scene. Like, you know, Nightcrawler under like the influence of that drug in the very opening scene, and like going through the White House, and you know, just really having his like telekinetic his teleportation powers like on full
Teleportation.
display.
That's
yeah,
awesome,
so
dude.
it was really, I thought that was probably my favorite movie, and then Days of Future Past came, and that was really good too.
That one's my favorite one.
Yeah, it's like a flip up between, but even then, it's like the first X-Men was okay, just because it was like the first movie. Now you look
It
back on it,
hasn't
it has like
aged well.
cheesy.
Could've
No, it
been a lot
hasn't.
better, right?
And then I think really feel like ever since The Last Stand came out, it was either a hit or miss for like the X-Men franchise.
That franchise
very
is all
true.
over the place.
It is so-
There's like a handful of them that I really love,
Mhm.
a couple that I like, and a few that I think are straight trash.
Yes.
As far as the highlights, it would have to be X2, Days of Future Past, and Logan. I don't know if we're counting Logan.
I mean, you count Logan.
I
It's
can count
Logan.
Logan.
I mean,
Logan.
Yeah.
he is the X-Men.
Yeah.
Of course.
Actually,
So-
Deadpool 2. I actually like Deadpool 2 more than the first one.
You like
That's
Deadpool?
actually another X.
That's a whole different.
I mean,
yeah,
they
it's
went a
different.
little
Still
bit-
X-Men.
They were
yeah.
trying to recruit him. They were trying to recruit him. But you know, Deadpool. He's
They added a lot of stuff into Deadpool too, but it actually everything correlated correctly, and it flowed perfectly with everything. Cable did good. The X-Force was pretty
I didn't like the Wolverine Origins.
I don't think anybody
Oh
did.
no,
I
nobody
didn't.
liked
Even
that
Hugh
one.
Jackman hated it.
Even though it
Terrible.
had good characters, it had Gambit. Why the hell did they take away Gambit?
See, I think I remember saying that
They
last
should've-
week. I think I did like the Wolverine Origins. That's
You
the one I
did.
said before.
Mhm.
The MCU, right? It was. I saw a quick fact. Yeah, it was a year later after the first Iron Man movie. So
Yeah, it came out like-
it
yeah.
was a year later.
Yeah.
I made sure I looked up on those facts. But yeah, I really did like that movie. But like you said, I really wanted them to bring out those characters that they used. Deadpool more. They finally did, but it was
They
a whole
need
different
to
storyline.
find a way to utilize Gambit because they only
Gambit's
has like
the one.
one appearance.
one appearance.
One appearance, yeah.
He's only
Yeah,
had
and
one
it's only in
appearance so
that one.
far. He's one of the coolest X-Men characters. That's a difficult series to tackle because I feel like I don't want to upset. I'm not a fan of The Last Stand. I don't like
it was trash.
Origins.
It was trash.
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
I didn't like it.
Apocalypse was trash.
That was
Apocalypse
trash.
That was very
Apocalypse.
trash.
I thought
That
Apocalypse
storyline was whack.
okay.
It had its moments.
It had
that's
its
for
moments,
sure.
but I
No.
feel like they did a perfect reset with Days of Future Past. It fixed all the flaws in the timeline. It made everything that didn't make sense make
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it kind of erased everything without technically erasing it. So
It was
it
a fresh
still
beginning.
happened, but the timelines changed. So I thought it was a clever way to go back with the franchise, but it seems like they're falling apart again.
Mhm. Yeah.
That one probably needs a
I-
reset.
Yeah, I think just a good,
hard
just a
reset.
good hard reboot, because like they're just there's I don't think there's anywhere else they can continue that franchise with like the cast and the characters that they, well, not so much the characters, but just the cast.
Especially
they had.
now that
they
Hugh
need to give it,
Jackman is
yeah.
out gone, it's not going to work.
and I
It's
just feel like
not.
they just
wouldn't.
they just need a hard reset and just try to like have a new take and like someone else come in with a new vision, something they haven't seen or done before, because there's just. And I'd maybe try to incorporate it more with like the MCU and that universe. I mean, that could be.
They're going to
an
start
easy
doing
way.
that
They're
now
gonna.
that
They have
Disney
to.
has Fox. They're going to really tackle that. The only thing I'm really going to miss is Michael Fassbender as Magneto.
Oh, he was awesome.
Fucking
Michael,
love that
yes,
character. One of my
dude.
favorite live action villains in a comic book
Well, both
movie.
of them. Ian McKellen was awesome.
Ian
Ian
too.
McKellen was
was
awesome
good.
too. Actually, both of them. It's just that because Michael Fassbender was the younger, more
The younger
intimidating
version,
one.
yeah.
But Ian McKellen did a great job. The best scene with Ian McKellen is in X2, where he's in his plastic prison. And what was it? Mystique had just pumped one of the guards full of
Yeah.
iron, and when he picks him up, and then
He gets
all
to like
the iron.
marbles.
It gets marbles, and he starts standing on the thing. When
Oh,
he
and it's
starts,
like a surfboard or something. And he's
yeah.
just
It's
like
like
going
that.
across like this.
that is the epitome
That
of
was cool.
badass right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
badass
One of
right
the
there,
coolest
dude.
scenes in any
I
of
really
them.
liked it. Yeah, I do. I do feel like they need to introduce more characters when it comes to the X-Men, especially like Gambit.
Now, Gambit, it was weird because Gambit was like one of their more popular characters,
Especially
from the new X-Men.
Yes. Well, also
Especially
last time
because
had
of the-
Angel.
the
and Angel
animated
only showed him a
series.
couple
And then the
times.
way
Yeah.
the storyline went too, they made it seem like they were gonna do something with them, like they were
Mhm.
gonna
Yeah.
bring them along into
Well, I mean,
future
they've had
movies, and they
that
didn't.
movie with Channing Tatum long in development, and it was supposed to get made a while ago, and it just never happened. So
I don't think it's
I mean,
ever
they
going to
just-
be made.
I don't
I've
think
been
so
heard
either.
about it
They
so
don't
many
I
have
got
the
my
right
years.
fingers
directors
crossed.
for it.
Yeah, I really do hope it
You-
comes out. I want a Gambit movie to
You
come
honestly
out.
Channing as Gambit?
I wouldn't mind him.
I just feel he's getting too old at this point, but I mean, that's like he's been tied to this role for like 5-6 years and still nothing.
And
There's
still
been
nothing,
no progress.
right? Yeah, he is
towards it.
getting too older because then if he does come out and in the action,
maybe like in his mid 40s.
Yeah, exactly. Are they gonna use him as a young Gambit or an older Gambit? Because there is Rogue too. You know how he's there's the comic books. He married her, and she's already been in the X-Men movies. So
yeah,
there's something that could happen there.
Yeah,
you never know.
And please, more R-rated X-Men movies. I know Disney is not likely to do this, but they should anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially if they're going to be using Wolverine, because Wolverine is the most graphic of
overall.
them
Just
all.
hit two demographics: hit the child side and hit the adult side. I mean, rated R is something we want to see. We like.
Well, who
violence.
doesn't? Even the younger kids these days, they want to see the graphic.
My whole thing though is because comic books haven't been written for kids since the 70s, maybe the 60s, because kids don't really read comic books. They're aimed at collectors and adults. So most of the storylines from comic books are meant for older readers anyway. And every time they take them to movies, they always have to water them down for a little bit for the public because the idea is that they're superheroes, which I get and I respect and all that. But it would be nice to get closer to the comic and not worry so much about content being too violent or offensive or whatever.
I think that just goes back to, you actually really touched on a point that I hadn't thought about. I think that really just goes back to like the days of when like Richard Donner's Superman was like the very first like big blockbuster superhero movie. And like the thing about it was that I
still like that movie.
Oh no, I mean I'm not saying that. It's just because it was Superman. You got the big blue Boy Scout, and like that was like everybody's first perception of like what a superhero like movie should be, and like the with all of like content related towards it and like the ratings and stuff. So I think everyone's still kind of in that frame of like, that's where it is.
Superman doesn't need to be rated R.
Exactly.
For me, because Superman is, like you said, a big blue Boy Scout. He's supposed to represent everything good and positive. And he's kind of wholesome,
but luckily,
good person.
He's a Boy Scout. He's a Boy Scout.
Luckily, when you've seen like the success that Deadpool and movies like Logan, those two Deadpool movies, so Joker. So I definitely think that companies, and Morbius is going to be PG-13, right?
Yes.
So I think they should be more in making those kind of movies. But like I said, we talked about that subject of like just
go back and forth,
staying in touch with the character, like being true to the character, not just trying to have violence for the sake of violence when it doesn't like match up with the character's like personality and
X-Men makes sense. Superman would be kind of forcing it to make it rated R, I feel.
Well, Zack Snyder kind of did with
he tried.
He tried.
He tried.
Call it an attempt.
Yes, Batman we could see rated R if that.
Batman
we have that darker side of him.
Especially his villains. I think there's like certain comics where Mad Hatter is a pedophile.
So, which makes sense because I think they actually hint at that. I think they actually hint at that in like the Arkham games when like, Alice, he's like, Alice, I'd really like to see you, Alice, and you kind of just
pretty
get
creepy
the sense.
Character anyway.
Well, he's extremely is. So
Arkham was a good game.
I feel
such a good game.
So since you were talking about Magneto and the actor that portrayed him, who's an actor that you guys would want to see as a next major villain?
Oh man,
that's a tough one for me, to be honest.
I feel like that's tough because if you would have asked this question maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I could rattle off a big list of people. But I feel like comic books have become such a big thing that when I was trying to think about this earlier, there's already so many great actors that have tackled villains. Everybody loves how many versions of the Joker there are. You got people like Michael Fassbender. I would say maybe Daniel Day-Lewis.
Damn.
If he didn't retire,
And as what villain or just
I don't know what villain you could picture, but Daniel Day-Lewis could be anybody.
He could be any villain.
Daniel Day-Lewis just becomes whoever he's playing, so he could be anybody.
Very true.
I would like to see Willem Dafoe as the Joker, but that's been done to death, and Willem Dafoe's already been the Green Goblin.
And that was pretty. It was already pretty close to how the Joker is like.
And he actually played a pretty great.
Yeah,
Green
Goblin. Very
nice.
He got a lot of hate on the outfit, but honestly, that suit for the time that we were at.
I look back on the suit, I'm like, oh my god, I hate it so much.
Well, exactly. It's just that time change.
You guys don't have an idea. You don't. Is there any actor you guys want to see?
Oh man, it's actually funny that I think this because, especially knowing how his career panned out, like when I first started watching his movies and like where he was at now. Not so much like in today's world, but like a few years ago, he was really at the top of his game. He's still a good actor. I would really like to see Matthew McConaughey either play I would like to see him. I would like to see him play the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, or the Green Goblin.
These
I
are great
always
choices.
I see him.
Damn,
I
that
see him
is
more
pretty
kind of
ridiculous.
I like
as
that you bought that one.
yeah. I
Yeah.
really see him more as Ear Barthon. Like when I first started like getting into comics and seeing like the Professor Zoom in the comics, like every time I would see him, I'm like, oh my god, this guy just reminds me of Matthew McConaughey. And especially
Damn,
just because
dude.
at that time, I think like when I started getting into all this was like around the time like Flashpoint Paradox came out. And you know, he was starting to like do really good movies. Like he did Mud, he did Dallas Buyers Club, and he was really on a roll with
True
all
Detective.
True Detective.
Yeah, that's
And
incredible.
And ever since then, I was like, oh my god, this guy would be perfect. I just really want to see Matthew McConaughey as a villain. I just think he could totally hit it out of the park.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did get him as a villain sometime eventually. I mean, I felt like he was really rising as an actor, and then the past couple of years,
Like
you don't
like
see him
2013, 2014.
yeah, doing so many great roles, but I still think he could play a good villain.
Yeah.
How about you, Josh?
That's very hard just because they're like James said, there's already so many actors that have played villains and superheroes. But
Exactly.
I mean, one actor that I know for sure off the top of my head that I haven't seen as a villain would be Johnny Depp.
Johnny.
I would like to
Oh,
see
he
him.
has
The Scarecrow.
Yes.
He's
I think he would play
rumored
the
to be the
Scarecrow.
Joker in Matt Reeves' Batman film.
I don't like that idea.
No.
You know,
but-
he was gonna play the Scarecrow at one point.
Was he?
When
It's a
Tim
50-50
Burton,
with them.
after Batman
Yeah,
Returns,
that's-
Tim Burton really wanted to do. It's funny. After Tim Burton did the first Batman,
Mhm.
he didn't want to do a second one, and the studio begged him.
Oh.
And then he got to do it, and then he had so much fun doing it. He wanted to do a third one, and the studio changed their mind that no, we don't want you anymore. But he wanted to bring in Johnny Depp as the Scarecrow, which would make sense in a Tim Burton Batman,
Of course.
and bring back Billy D. Williams as Two-Face. Would have been
Ooh,
interesting.
It would.
Damn.
Oh, because
Alternate
he
world.
was under contract for it.
Yeah,
Same with Marlon Williams was supposed to play Robin in the sequel too. He was actually supposed to be in
They had-
Batman Returns, and then he
Pay
did
or
a
play.
costume.
That's
yeah,
crazy. I
he
didn't know
actually
that.
got paid for it.
Yeah, they both got paid. They had pay or play contracts where Billy D. Williams so wanted to play Two-Face. His deal was, if I don't play him, you're going to pay me for him anyway if you got. So they got Tommy Lee
Ooh.
Jones and
Damn.
they paid
Well,
Well, because
Billy D.
Joel
Williams.
Schumacher came on, and it was
Jones.
his call.
But I feel like Billy D. Williams got to make up for that with the Lego Batman. He was
Oh,
Two-Face.
yeah, he
So I
was.
feel like that
Man.
was his redemption. It's like, I
Yeah.
finally get to do it.
There you go,
No, yeah.
Batman.
For me, we were actually discussing it earlier. It just
What about Leo DiCaprio?
That's exactly what I was gonna bring up.
Oh, I'm
right
sorry,
now. Yeah,
man.
no, you're good, dude. You're good because we were talking about it, and he wasn't even crossing my head. But now, since you guys didn't mention him, all that, it's actually a pretty good actor I want to bring
It's
up.
actually funny because when he was younger, like he would have been spot on and really perfect as Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow.
Oh, dude.
I was watching
Gangs of New York when he was like
yeah.
only in his late 20s. I was like, oh my god, this guy would have been an awesome Green Arrow. But
Yeah, I think
as a
Leo-
villain, I do think he could
I think
work.
it would have worked. I don't know who. I really don't
I
know.
can see him like as a
who.
Riddler type,
Look at his
like narcissistic
Calvin
OCD.
Candy in Django
Oh,
Unchained.
Django Unchained. Yeah, yeah.
That's a great villain right there. You know he could play a villain and he would do good with dialogue because Leonardo DiCaprio is the type of he'd have to play a villain who gives a lot of speeches and loves
Oh
to
Yeah.
yeah,
his
because he's a
self-talk
well speaker.
if you're gonna get
Yeah.
him as an actor, but I could totally picture him but he doesn't do a whole lot of movies He's
Anymore, yeah.
very selective about what
He's
he
very
does.
selective. But who knows with the way superhero movies and all that stuff is going right now.
Sure, if they
he
pay him
might-
enough.
Yeah, exactly. And they pretty are. You know, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. got paid enough. That's how he
Robert Downey Jr. would make a good villain too.
Really?
I think so.
I mean, it
I
would, be
think
hard, it would be
people-
hard to see him as a villain now.
But
Just
I
because
know,
of
but that's
Iron
only
Man, yeah.
because
Right.
people Iron Man, but he has like the sarcasm of it. He's smirky. I can picture him playing somebody really arrogant.
In the Marvel or the DC universe?
Well, I mean, he can't really come
can't
back to
bring him
Marvel.
back to
No, but I'm
Marvel,
saying if
yeah.
he could play
Probably
a
DC.
DC.
Probably DC.
Yeah, I could see him going to DC for sure, without a doubt.
I mean, they all flip anyway.
Pretty much, yeah.
That
Christian
is
Bale.
true.
Christian
Christian
Bale,
Bell, oh,
Michael
damn.
Keaton.
Michael
Michael
Keaton.
Keaton, yes.
Have you noticed that a lot of Spider-Man actors swapped with Batman?
William Dafoe.
Willem
Well, I mean,
Dafoe.
he was
Dafoe.
he came to DC. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of swapping. Even J.K. Simmons,
Simmons.
J.K.
was
Simmons went
Commissioner
Commissioner
Gordon for a
Gordon.
short period.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't
It
think
sucks
that's
'cause I
happening
would've-
anymore.
No, because Jeffrey Wright is playing Commissioner Gordon in Matt Reeves' Batman.
Oh.
That's a good choice, but
But it was
I
really,
really
cool
liked
to see like J.K.
J.K.
Simmons
Simmons.
just because like I always especially because like he really improved as an actor, and then seeing him in Whiplash was like wait a minute, this is J. Jonah Jameson.
oh, he's
like,
amazing.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that.
Whiplash
Oh,
was good.
man. Love that movie.
Such a great movie.
Yeah.
Did you guys happen to catch the new Mutants trailer? It's the second
Oh,
trailer.
man,
that
yeah,
came
it was
out.
Looks
awesome.
good. Looks
was
really
awesome.
good.
We'll see. that movie I've been hearing about for years. It's been delayed. It's been pushed off, and now it's been delayed
been going on.
again.
Well, it was
Well,
confirmed
and then
to
with
come
the
out.
coronavirus now
Yeah.
too, it's been pushed
Now
back.
they postponed
It's
it
almost
back
like
here.
that
More,
movie's
dude.
cursed. The universe won't let it come
It doesn't
out.
want
Yes,
it to
I feel like
happen.
I've been
that's
hearing
true.
about this
Very
for
true.
3 or 4 years. I'm like, is this coming out or not? And just when it's coming out, the coronavirus. So
Yeah, I remember
The
when the
universe ain't letting
comic,
it
New
happen.
Mutants comic number 1.
Because they've had the
blew up.
cast since almost the beginning of them trying to figure out that movie. So it's been just boxed.
what
there
worries
for
me
a
is they
while.
did a lot of reshoots on it.
That
I
they
would-
did.
And
That
that
did,
yeah.
that's usually not a good sign when the studio starts doing too many reshoots and starts interfering with the director's vision, and it becomes more bland because they're
True.
trying to. Because usually they're trying to do it to reach as wide of an audience as possible, which
Yeah.
I understand from a marketing point, but creatively that's not necessarily a good decision. So
Mm.
we'll see.
Do you guys feel like it's a change of pace?
It's a new take,
Yeah.
that's for
movies.
sure. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
new introduction to new mutants as well.
Well, more so because I mean they're adding like elements of horror obviously within it and like
Oh, yeah,
psychological
right.
thriller.
Yep.
I kind of talked on we kind of talked on that in previous topics about like just this industry is becoming so saturated now.
What is
and
it
so-
rated?
I don't know,
I
PG-13.
I'll look
but-
that up right now, y'all.
But I feel
PG-13.
I feel like it's moving towards a good direction, and it's offering kind of showing like the possibilities of what like these superhero movies can be, and not just like action ridden or not just have like a quirky like one-liners and stuff like that. I definitely think that I definitely like that it's a change of pace.
It
Yeah,
looks
it's
like a pretty young
PG-13.
good cast too.
PG-13.
PG-13?
Yeah, it's not gonna be R, I don't think.
If you're gonna
Yeah, I
do
wouldn't.
horror, I think you should go all the way.
Mhm.
Don't hold back if you're gonna do horror, because that's a genre that I really love.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to see horror watered down.
Most definitely.
No,
No one
for
wants
sure.
to see that.
Mm-mm.
Well, come on. The villain in there confirmed is Demon Bear, so we're expecting something that has to do scary.
It is weird. Did you
He
guys know
feeds
that
off of?
Birds of Prey was rated R?
It
I
was?
actually
Is it?
didn't. I didn't even catch it. I still haven't caught it.
It's rated R.
Is it?
Yeah, I
And
didn't
how
know
well
until I
did
went
it
to
do
go
in the
see it.
box office, though.
It did okay. It made enough to make its budget back, but it wasn't a big hit.
No.
I
heard-
actually liked
I
it,
think
and
that's
I
'cause
think
of
it's
Margaret
because of
Robbie.
Suicide
Yeah,
Squad
Margaret
held it
Robbie
off.
sold the movie for sure.
Yeah, well, she was like a producer on the movie, so
It's better than Suicide Squad. It's
Oh,
a
most
fuck of a lot.
definitely.
Well, that
much
doesn't
better
really
than
say a lot,
Suicide.
though.
You know, it does say a lot about Jared Leto, how he doesn't have his own movie yet.
well, he's Morbius, so he's
Yeah.
doing,
Well,
he's doing
yeah.
all right.
You never know.
But he
Everyone
was
who gets
mad
their stuff
about
from
he was
from
mad about not getting his own movie.
Yeah,
yet,
he
so
was.
He's a
spoiler.
hater.
hating on Joaquin
But,
Phoenix. Come on, you can't hate on him.
We'll bring that up in a little bit, though.
Okay.
That's freak.
So, that's all your thoughts about the New Mutants?
He
Trailer?
looks
I
good. Great
think I'm-
casting.
okay, go on.
Maisie Williams is gonna play Wolfsbane. She has the ability to become a wolf. I know Charles Heaton, the one from Stranger Things, he's supposed to be playing.
Oh, he is.
He's in there too. I don't.
He's
know.
playing Speedball, I think.
I believe so. Or his name's Cannon.
Oh,
I
is it
believe-
Cannon?
Yeah, Cannon.
Oh, Speedball, yeah, Speedball is not from the New Mutants. He's yeah.
Yeah, so good casting. I mean, two big
Honestly,
characters that have been popular. You know, Maisie was in Game of Thrones, so she's very known. He was Stranger Things, one of
So
the
it's a cool
biggest.
cast, right?
Cool
that you're
cast,
saying?
yeah.
Cool,
cast.
cool young cast.
I think that's what they're
Seem
doing
talented.
nowadays too. They just, as long as they have a cool certain 1, 2, 3 stars in there, I
Mhm.
think they'll be fine.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
attract
Yeah.
their fans or something like
I mean,
that.
we'll
you know
even
what
see
I'm
if
saying?
it even correlates to the MCU. We'll see if they try to bring it like Deadpool. They're trying to bring.
Well,
it
I know
to
that's
there,
what they're
too.
trying to do with a bunch of movies that they're trying to bring, whether it's TV series or a movie. I believe they're
Mhm.
just trying to connect everything now and make it into one big universe or
Right.
multiverse,
It connects,
however
yeah.
you're saying. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It all
Yeah.
connects. All right,
Have
cool,
characters
cool.
jumping back and forth.
And who is your favorite character in the?
And what, Marvel vs. Capcom?
Yeah, there you go. My bad.
Our
It was
favorite
Marvel
characters in
versus
there, or favorite
Capcom.
characters to use.
Favorite Marvel characters because there's multiple characters in there too.
Well,
We
no.
get to choose a
Well, it's
three.
Marvel versus Capcom. You could choose any characters you guys want. It's just any players
We should
you guys
stick to
use.
Marvel ones.
Marvel.
though.
Marvel.
I would say.
Well, I mean, Capcom, there's still heroes, and that's the
Yeah,
that's the main topic.
Heroes,
That's what the main
heroes
topic
and villains.
is.
So
True.
Heroes
I
and
got Ryu.
villains.
Ryu is a hero.
Ryu.
Marvel
Ryu.
versus Capcom.
Venom and Wolverine are the ones that I used to
Venom
play
and
with. Those are the
Wolverine.
ones that I could dominate with those characters. Occasionally Spider-Man, but mostly
It's crazy.
Venom for sure. Yeah,
and
much
Wolverine.
better than.
It's crazy that you say
Spider-Man.
that because I would use Wolverine and Spider-Man.
Slight variation.
It's like very.
I'll do Blackheart and Wolverine.
So 3 Wolverines already. That's pretty crazy. So Wolverine was on that, right? I
Wolverine,
mean,
yeah.
he was on top of his game in that
Second
game.
choice Venom after Gambit for sure. Spider-Man.
Gambit was
fourth.
badass too. I really like Gambit. Like,
It's hard for me because they're only using 2 characters, and I love using a mix of all these different characters. Probably Gambit and Spider-Man.
Gambit and Spider-Man.
Those are like
Gambit and
two of my favorite
Spider-Man.
Marvel characters, and that power of Gambit, just throwing the cards, and
never-
Spider-Man super agile and quick. Like
I could never handle Gambit right. That's why. I think
His-
it's just certain characters,
his
the way that
specials,
they
that's why,
fight.
dude.
Yeah, everyone has a different
Fits.
special
Yeah.
attacks.
they're all different spells, but it was pretty cool. It's been a while since I've actually played that, dude. It's been years. The only ones when people talk about this, I'm like, well, which year are you talking about?
Yo, Walmart,
You know?
Walmart
there's
has
so
it
many-
for
so
sale.
many
They're
They
like, oh
actually
yeah,
have
I'm playing the one
little-
on the PlayStation 4. I'm like, oh no, dude, I still play that quarter 50-cent one.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm
man.
saying? That's,
I associated with the
Yeah, dude.
arcade
the
one.
arcade
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
is
yeah,
awesome,
old school
dude.
graphics.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To me, those are the fun
sure.
ones.
That's
It's
the one-
not the same. I don't know what it is about those really cheap, outdated graphics that makes it more fun. It's not the same when it looks super realistic. I don't know what it
No.
is.
It really is.
Yeah, like if you go to round 1, every game you see there that's arcade is basically an app. Like they got Fruit Ninja as a freaking game.
Yeah, and it
How the
doesn't feel
heck
the
is that
same.
weird?
It really
yeah,
doesn't
back
feel the
then we
same.
had Galaga, Donkey Kong, Mario,
yeah,
Mhm.
Amazing Spider-Man, TMNT. We had so much variety. Now it's just plain and plat. It's just like
Yeah, now that's why I like that old school
Just
one.
play it on
That's
your
why
phone now.
when I brought this up, I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know what year you guys
Mine-
like,
mine
but
is
I
the
know
old
I
one.
like the old school one.
Always
Yes.
the old
Always
one.
gonna be the old
Always
school
the
arcade
old
one.
ones.
Yeah.
Always. Awesome. Okay. So like I was saying, Joker. Who's the best Joker that you guys think, in your guys'
You
opinion?
guys go first.
That's
Oh,
hard
alright,
to
there it
choose.
is.
It's hard to choose the Joker because every Joker that has been played has
Why
been
don't you
portrayed
rank 'em?
very differently. And okay, so
Do a top 3.
top 3 for sure. Heath Ledger for me is always one.
Ooh,
Even though
RIP,
Joaquin did an
RIP.
amazing job,
Mhm.
Heath Ledger always for sure takes it. Second, I already said Joaquin. Third, I would say Cameron Monaghan from Gotham. I
Oh,
feel
was
like
great.
he
was
played
underrated.
2 types of Jokers very, very well. He played Jeremiah, which was the crazy circus, crazy blow up, everything. And then you had Jerome, which was the more intellectual, Heath Ledger-ish kind of feel to it.
Cameron Monaghan would have been a better choice for Suicide Squad than Jared Leto.
He
God.
would.
Yeah.
He would.
I really do think he could have pulled off a really good Joker.
I could even see him in
a
Matt
movie.
Reeves' Batman.
Oh yeah,
He would be perfectly good, especially since it is a young cast. Robert Pattinson looks young. I think that would be a great Joker to portray, especially if you're going to try to have him do it in the long run.
right, exactly.
What about you?
How about you, Nick?
You rank yours.
That's the easy one for me. I'm gonna go with Mark Hamill.
Ooh.
And I know it's
Yeah.
a little bit harder one, like because I mean you mentioned pretty
Nothing
much
wrong
all
with that.
live
No,
action.
Yeah, it's
but
not hard.
just
about it.
growing up in Batman the Animated Series and just like how perfect Mark Hamill sounded as the Joker, and
That
just
laugh.
even just the way the thing that really distinguishes him is how he went about like structuring his laugh. He was just talking about like, well, the Joker should have like multiple different laughs. Like, you know, if I'm wanting to portray like more he really did a good job of portraying like the straight homicide and psychopathic version, but also like
Has a
having that
desperate
sense of a
laugh.
clown.
He has a sad laugh.
He's like
Yeah,
it's
them all.
like a musical instrument. His laugh is like. So,
You don't know what you're
he
gonna
just-
get.
he
It's
just
an
did-
iconic laugh. Whenever
Yeah.
you hear it,
He
you'll know
said
it's him.
when he
You're gonna
was auditioning for the part before he was driving in his car in LA,
and he was like
in-
practicing his laughs.
practicing going hee, like doing all kinds of different laughs. He said he was getting stares from
Yeah.
people who thought he was maniacal.
Exactly.
in his car,
Yeah.
just like laughing his ass off.
So I mean, he really like was the pinnacle of like how the Joker should sound, and just because, especially the way he had to like portray so many different aspects of this character, just using his voice and not like having like any kind of body movement or any kind of like physical. And the thing was, they said about Mark Hamill is like he would actually get up and would like physically act as the character, and they used a
Yes.
lot of his movements when portraying the character and like doing the motion capture or even just like in the cartoon or the games and just using his movements as like a reference point for like how he should be portrayed
Oh, he
or
got
how he should be
yes.
acting. So I think he doesn't get enough credit for that. Honestly,
Mark Hamill overall iconic.
That would have
Yeah.
been awesome
Iconic.
seeing him in a real life.
I was about
Movie,
to
right?
say that I
'Cause-
always, if they only jumped on it when he was younger, he could have made a really good live action Joker.
Well, the
And I thought it
closest
was a
thing they did, I mean, in Flash,
missed
I believe they
opportunity.
used
Yeah,
him
they-
as a trickster.
the
Kind of
trickster.
the
Use him as a
closest
trickster.
thing
That's
the
the
Joker
closest
was.
we ever got
Birds
him
of
to.
Prey TV show, they used him as the Joker too, but
Oh,
you
did
could
they?
barely see him, and you just heard his voice and his talking. The TV show, not the movie.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
okay.
like the late '90s or early 2000s they did that.
It's not a very good
Not
show,
very good.
but
Yeah,
He
they
was
use
the
him as
Joker.
the trickster.
I mean,
so-
Yeah, the tricks, yeah.
we hopefully we get to see him as like the Joker in some kind of live action capacity because Kevin Conroy got to finally portray Bruce Wayne.
That's true.
Oh, was that
in
the
the
Crisis?
Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline.
Earth, yeah.
Yeah, but Crisis is usually more heroes than villains. I doubt they would actually come out on that.
That's true.
Maybe someday.
So for me, I'd have to agree with you. My number one would have to be Mark Hamill, only because he is the voice of the Joker. I can't separate it from the comic books. Not only that, he's played multiple versions of the Joker. He's played the animated series version, which is a very faithful version, but that's equal parts goofy and homicidal.
Yeah.
He's played him more psychotic in the Arkham video games. He's played the Killing Joke version in the Killing Joke, the animated movie. And every time he plays the Joker in a different universe of Batman, he doesn't sound the same. The animated series Joker sounds worlds away from how he sounds when he's voicing the Killing Joke version of the Joker. Goes for something completely different. So he's the definitive, for me, nobody could top him. Number two would have to be Heath Ledger, just because that's an amazing acting performance. It's so transformative.
Definitely.
I don't even see Heath Ledger in it. His voice, his physicality, his mannerisms.
You didn't even know it was him.
He so dove into that role that I really believe that that was the Joker brought to life. And he reminded me a lot of the Killing Joke, his philosophy, how calculating he was.
Multiple choice of his background.
Yep. It's definitely straight out of the Killing Joke, where he says,
that's what I liked about that.
If I had to pass, it would have to be multiple choice. So Heath Ledger killed it. And then third would be Joaquin. Because I like that Joaquin got to play a different version of the Joker. He got to play the man who became the Joker, which I don't feel Heath Ledger ever got to do, or even Jack Nicholson, who I also like as the Joker.
They're already established.
Well, I mean, they already said
exactly
too, like the director already said that this isn't even like the definitive. Like it could be a character who, like, it's kind of open to interpretation on who exactly he is.
I refuse to believe that. I don't like that. When he said that, I was like, "Shut up, Todd Phillips. Stop it."
Yeah, dude,
no,
should have never said that.
Should have never said that.
Never.
But I liked Joaquin Phoenix's because he has the closest physicality of any live action Joker when his shirt is off and he's skinny, and the way that his
dude, he looks almost anorexic.
His flesh looks like his bones look like they're gonna pop out of his flesh, and he looks really wiry. There's a lot of comic book drawings of have you ever read The Long Halloween?
Yeah.
No.
Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. The way that
really
he's
good.
drawn in there with like the lankiness and the super skinny, it reminds me a lot of Joaquin Phoenix. I felt like he looked most like it. And he reminded me a little bit of Mark Hamill when he started getting, especially when he was on the Murray Franklin TV series.
Yeah.
I could feel, I don't know if it was influenced by Mark Hamill, but I got some of that feeling out of it. So I think he did good. But there is,
when he started into the knock knock joke.
Oh
like,
yeah,
hey, knock knock.
Yeah, those are definitely my top three too. But it would be Mark. And then, it's either, I think I would go Joaquin second though, and then it would be Heath.
That's a fair choice.
We're all starstruck when we saw the movie. You're like, oh.
Dude, when it came out, it's exactly like James was saying, it's something different than from the Jokers we have seen, Joker. And like you said, it's the man before.
The man who became
the Joker,
not just the Joker.
Exactly.
Which is different.
They showed exactly how he transformed himself into the Joker.
Another reason why I said Cameron was a very good. We saw his way to becoming to the Joker as well too.
I mean, what I really liked about Joaquin too is his laugh. A lot of people didn't like it.
I liked his laugh a lot.
Pretty annoying.
Oh, he had a really good
There's
laugh.
times where I still be doing that in public just to see how people react. Sometimes I ain't gonna lie, it's a pretty weird laugh. I'll be doing this sometimes.
I liked it because it was uncomfortable. He sounded like he was in pain and not enjoying himself. I've never heard laughter that sounds that miserable.
Yes.
It's crazy because it sounds
awful.
You were one with that movie when you saw it. It was good. Beginning to end.
I really like that. Yeah, but it'll be Mark, Joaquin, and
who's going to be the next actor who wins an award for playing the Joker? I feel like that's like an actor's dream.
Well, Joaquin
to play
just
that
won
character.
the most recent one, right?
Him and Heath Ledger.
Yeah, that's true.
Jack didn't,
R.I.P. Heath, man.
I think he was nominated for a Golden Globe for it.
Jack Nicholson?
I think.
Oh.
I could be wrong.
I'm sure he was nominated for something.
He was a great Joker too. For that version of Batman, I liked his the gangster take a lot.
And after do you think Joaquin, there will be a second Joker?
I don't think it needs it.
Yeah.
I feel like it works like a good one-off graphic novel works, the way that movie works, the way like something like The Killing Joke, or just, I like some of those one-off stories where you could separate it and go on your own path.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't strike me as the type of movie that needs a sequel. I'm not opposed to it. I'll go check it out. I just don't know what direction they're going to take it in, because that version is so ultra realistic that you're going to have to involve Batman one day. And it's going to look weird, Batman speeding along that environment. I know he exists in that universe, but actually seeing it might be odd.
Would you see Robert Pattinson and Joaquin making
I don't
clashing
know. I feel like
together.
these are different universes.
Well, from what I know, the
I mean,
director
the way
said
they're
the
looking, it looks-
the Joker has nothing to do with
No, it doesn't.
with
but
their
still,
universe.
just because when we do see Joker, we see a young Batman. So
Well,
Robert
depends-
Pattinson is gonna be.
If
I
they
think
make a new
Joaquin
Joker-
could play him, but it wouldn't be the same
The
Joker
same
he's
Joker.
playing in the
Yeah,
Joker
yeah.
movie. They want it, but I don't see why they would do that though.
Yeah,
They shouldn't. They shouldn't.
No.
Yeah. Well,
Forget I said anything, guys.
anything could happen though. Like we said
Rewind.
earlier, we said Jared Leto was mad because he couldn't get his own Joker movie. But who knows? I think it's up for grabs now too. I really
Right.
do think the Joker, anything TV series, movie, it's up for grabs, and
Right.
anyone could, any actor could portray the role.
Yes.
Not any actor.
No.
Special
Okay, yeah,
actor.
my bad. I should rephrase that. Then not any actor, but an actor that.
A good
Big
actor with
time
good
actor.
range.
A lot of people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Daniel
hard,
Day-
it's hard to
Daniel
word
Day-Lewis
that. I think
next.
it's pretty
Daniel
hard to word
Day-Lewis,
that.
yes.
Daniel Day-Lewis, the next
There you
Joker.
go.
Come out of retirement and like, hey,
Yeah,
I want to be the
man.
Joker now.
Since we were talking about Jared Leto being a little worse, Joker, what about the worst? What do you guys think has been the worst movie in the past 10 years? Well,
The worst superhero movie?
Yeah.
That's very hard. There's a lot.
There's a lot. I ain't gonna
Suicide
lie,
Squad
there's a
was
lot.
awful. It's hot
That,
trash.
that's
Yeah.
up there for me, definitely.
That was number.
That is
Do
up
you guys
there.
think that's
the
why Will
Hot
Smith didn't
Topic
come back?
Avengers. That's what it looks like. It's like the Avengers for the Hot Topic crowd, and it looks
oh
like.
my, you're
yeah.
you're too right on that.
And you know that the Hot Topic people actually were involved in editing that movie. I
Yeah,
found
didn't know
out,
that.
and I was
For
like,
real?
that makes so much sense. I get
no
it
wonder
now.
it's so colorful and purple.
And me being the big Batman fan I am, that came out on my birthday, so I went to go see it. Worst fucking birthday movie ever. Like halfway through, I felt my heart drop, and I just like, what did I drag all these people out here for? I was like, this is embarrassing.
It's just like I don't. It just really didn't like. They trailers had built it up so much and hyped it up to be this big thing, and like it was going to be the
The
anti-Guardians.
trailers
and,
were genius.
Yeah.
those are some of the
That's how
best
they
marketing.
attract. Yeah, that's how
and
they
it just
attract.
felt like it was going to be an anti-Guardians, which was like okay, which was actually something that would have worked, but you know they for whatever reason they went the way that they did, and
Margot Robbie was good.
she
She's
was
not.
good.
She's
I
not a
don't-
problem.
I
with the
hated
movie.
her outfit.
No,
they,
I
they
mean,
really gave
her
her
outfit could be
horrible
better.
outfit.
Her outfit
She's the only
definitely-
character
I don't have
that
a
got
problem
her
with
own
the-
movie
Of course,
outside
of course you don't.
Birds of Prey. Yeah, Birds of Prey is good though. I liked it.
Birds of
I
Prey
thought
is
it was
good?
entertaining.
I still
it was
haven't
what
caught it.
Suicide closer to what Suicide Squad should have been. You get a little bit more of the.
I think because
and
Margaret
no
had
Jared
more say
Leto
in it.
makes it better.
Oh God, we're still on
It's
that.
because Margaret had more say in this movie, if I'm not mistaken.
She was a producer. I've heard rumors.
She was a
smart. Yeah,
producer.
so she was smart. She knew what she was.
Well, she
getting
likes this
herself
character
into.
and
She
like
does.
obviously is
She
so
plays it
tied
very
to
well
it that,
herself.
I think
too,
she
yeah.
picked the director, Kathy Yan, and from I could be wrong. Don't quote me, but I could have swore I read something about her letting Quentin Tarantino do a ghost rewrite of the script as a
Oh,
favor
damn.
for her being in Once
Oh.
Upon a Time in Hollywood,
that could have been then.
which I could kind of see
I could
if you
see
saw
that.
that.
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
I need to check it out. Maybe I might have that little feel like you're saying to it.
It's
He's
a pretty
a
good
great-
movie.
Yeah, he's a great director.
So
But what
going back
about
to the
you?
worst movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
going
gonna.
back to
Suicide.
I don't know if you guys can agree with this, but it's definitely how I feel. I'm gonna go with Iron Man 3. I felt like Iron Man 3 was straight. And it's
I
not
didn't
even
really
so
like it
much
either.
like I felt like they finally could have done something different with it and played off of like his PTSD and all of that. Like, but they really just played it off for comedic effect and like, you know, oh, are you having another panic attack? And everyone, I'm like, see, it was really something that they could have had done a great opportunity with, or something that they could have taken this character to, like showing how he's able to cope with like all that PTSD and all that
Yeah.
stress and all that anxiety and find a way to like bring balance back to it so that he can go back to the Avengers and be ready when there's another event that happens. And I just like the twist with the Mandarin, like it just
That's what
really
killed it.
didn't work for
It-
me, honestly.
Fucking ruined
yeah.
that movie. I like the first half of it.
Yeah.
I thought I remember when I went to go see it, I was so into it in the first half, and after the twist with the Mandarin, it totally undercut
Threw you
everything, and everything that felt like it was building up to a great superhero epic just felt like it got the rug pulled
Exactly.
from under it. And
Yeah.
you're just
And I
like,
just,
Definitely.
I just
Lost
felt
it
like
from
they tried to disguise it all with like, oh, this is all comedy, and they tried too hard to make it all funny that it just really didn't work for me. And I just didn't really like, especially because like they played off of more of these serious themes of like what Tony was actually dealing with and all that, and like post Avengers, and you know when he saved
Yeah.
Europe from the missile, and I just really think they should have played more off of that, and that really would have worked as a movie, especially this is a solo movie. And then I just really hated the end when he like blows up his suit, when he like destroys his suits. He's like,
All the suits?
and he goes into that
Basically,
generic BS ending of like, oh, you can't take away my suits. One thing you can't take away from me, I am Iron Man. I'm like, oh my god,
That was
so
cheesy.
cliche.
Yeah, that
Very
was
cliche.
cliche.
See,
very
yeah.
generic, very cliche.
I can't agree with you. That's one of the worst because I don't think it's a bad movie. But
Look, I don't think
feel
it's
like,
bad, but for
it
me, like-
squanders all of the potential that it had.
yes.
That's more what it is for me,
So I
especially because they could have played off these more serious themes,
Especially
which
after
is
the
like
first
what,
two.
yeah, which is what they hadn't really done before. And the Disney, but then they just went full blown Disney, and we're gonna like find a way to make jokes out of his PTSD and what he's struggling with. There was this opportunity there to do something great and do something different, and
They went the other way around.
It seemed like they were going for the structure of it. Reminded me a little bit of The Dark Knight Rises. Him being out of his suit for long periods of time and
I didn't think
struggling
about
with
that.
himself.
Yeah,
but if you think
yeah.
about it, they're pretty damn similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a different
Yeah.
perspective. I never saw it that way either.
Same kind of structure.
How about you, Josh?
There's just so many. I mean,
There's a
I
lot
was
of
gonna
bad
say
ones.
Suicide Squad too. I mean, I fell asleep 15,
So
20 minutes, 15, 20
I
minutes
never
into
liked
the
it,
movie.
yeah.
I woke up like the last 5 minutes. I'm like, what happened? It's like, oh, movie's over.
Well, we still have Green Lantern if you want to talk
There's
about
Green
that.
That was
Lantern,
mine, dude. I did.
Catwoman.
Oh shit, I'm
No,
sorry,
you're
bro.
good though.
No,
You're
like,
good.
okay,
Yeah,
so
no, you're good, though.
Catwoman. I mean, Halle Berry.
Well, that
Great
was
actress,
more
but
than
come
10.
on.
That was more than 10 years.
That was in
That was more.
That was like
than
that was like
it?
04,
early
03.
2000s. Yeah.
Did you like The Amazing Spider-Man 2?
I hated Amazing Spider-Man.
There's your choice.
Especially with Gwen Stacy. Like that ending scene with Gwen Stacy. Like, come on, how the hell?
Oh
you're gonna
yeah,
kill it
dude.
like
It
that?
could have been way better. Way
That
That
would
was
be my-
so dramatic. And then
It's my
Jamie
number
Foxx. Jamie Foxx, sorry, man.
Yeah,
Get your
I'm-
redemption. Get your redemption.
Spawn.
Spawn, yes.
Dude, Spawn. Oh, man.
Excited for
Perfect way to
that.
redeem yourself.
I can't wait for that topic in the
Shout out
Oh,
Todd
yeah.
McFarlane.
Todd
Come on.
McFarlane, love you.
Don't let us
Right
down.
here.
We love you.
He finally drew out I think in the comics the first Spidey and Spawn team up, I think.
He did.
Yeah, I
believe.
think
gonna
he
be
did that
interesting.
recently. He did
Have you
that
ever
recently in one
read
of the comics.
Batman and Spawn?
I wanted to read
It's
it.
written
I've
by
been
Frank Miller.
Okay.
and then artwork by
Todd McFarlane.
Oh,
Todd
okay.
I
McFarlane.
work with my Todd. Oh,
Dude, it
That's
was
a great
awesome.
combo right there.
yes.
I wish I still had my copy of that. I lost that years ago.
But was this when Frank Miller was just going full blown crazy, or was he still
This
like
was in the
kind of
90s.
Because so he was kind of falling
Getting
off,
in there.
or he was getting to that point where he was
Yeah.
going just full blown.
To be honest, Todd McFarlane's art is the highlight of it
Because
because
the epitome of everything.
just
Yeah.
the way that he draws Batman, and he didn't draw. I know he was an artist on Batman for a while, but the way that he draws Batman is perfect. If you think about his visual imagination, the way he draws things, the darkness,
it makes sense,
slight
especially like
sloppiness.
you see like Spawn and the silhouettes, like with his cape and everything like
Yeah.
that. You just get like a very
that cape
Batman
is
feel.
badass.
Oh,
Interesting
yeah.
tidbit. The Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller comics, take place in the same universe as the Batman and Spawn team up. Which
Really?
I don't know how, because the Dark
That
Knight
is
universe,
interesting.
the
Yeah.
Dark Knight universe is separate. It's not canon as far as DC goes.
Yeah.
It's just like a one-off story. So in that version, there's, I guess, Batman exists in that universe. At
Yeah.
least that's what it's supposed
Oh
to be.
wait, what about Ruben? Maybe you
Well,
never
yeah,
you never gave him a chance to.
Well, mine was
what
gonna be the Green Lantern, like you
Well,
were
I
saying.
don't
Yeah, I
know.
really-
Well, we went back in time and we
I went a little
retconned
too
that.
back in
We-
time.
We retconned that.
time jump.
We-
Time jump.
Time jump.
Super time jump.
So what
Freaking,
was your
yeah, mine
movie?
would be the Green Lantern just because
Understandable.
I don't know. I mean, I think the storyline was cool. It was all right. Could have been a little better. But I think just it was too boring.
It was
It
pretty
was
boring.
too boring.
It felt like
they-
nothing happened.
Yeah,
really.
they
was
made it
bland.
seem like an origin story, but it was weak. It was whack.
Very.
I think it was whack, and
Definitely.
that's why I think Ryan Reynolds did
Deadpool.
he did Deadpool, and that's why I said he was one of the best comeback portrayals for a superhero movie.
But that's a better fit for his style.
Oh,
of
yeah.
acting, his
way
better.
personality.
I mean, he looks like Hal Jordan, but he just doesn't. He gives off more the persona of Deadpool. He like
The
he
acting
is-
style
yeah.
does not fit
He-
Green Lantern.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. Or just him as a person. But
Yeah.
they probably just tell him, all right, Ryan, just be yourself. He probably doesn't even have lines. It's just, what would Deadpool say here? Oh, Deadpool would say.
Yeah, mine would definitely be Green Lantern
Yeah.
just for that same.
I would say it's
Reason.
not a bad movie.
It's
I won't say
forgettable,
it's
though.
horrible, but yeah,
It's
there's
mediocre.
nothing great about it redeeming. And the only good thing about it is Mark Strong as Sinestro. He's freaking awesome.
I'd rather
Yeah.
see
Yeah,
an
that was
awful
awesome.
movie though than a mediocre one. Any
That's
day of the
true.
week, I will take an awful
I would
movie
too.
because Batman and Robin is awful. but it's funny and it's entertaining.
Carving nipples.
Yeah, it's funny.
Batman credit cards.
See, it's funny for all the wrong reasons, but something like Green Lantern is just forgettable. It's like there's no reason to go back and revisit it. I'm good.
I never
never need to see it again.
I never thought about the day someone would say, "I remember Batman versus Robin is more memorable than Green Lantern."
Batman versus Robin is the animated movie.
That's what I said. Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin.
Let me go ahead and switch it over to Marvel. I don't know if you guys heard that some characters from the Guardians might be on Thor.
Oh yes,
well, it's been confirmed,
hear that.
right?
It's been confirmed. Yes, everyone in the Guardians will be cameoing in there. I mean, Star-Lord, Mantis, and Drax will only be cameoing for a little bit, but I
still think that's cool.
I know Rocket and Groot will be riding along with Thor the whole movie.
Oh yeah, especially after Infinity War, you know.
The chemistry that they had together was very
the bond that they built. Like it's just gonna be really
come on,
cool.
the handle and the axe.
Yeah,
is
when
Groot's hand.
when Groot gave up, cut off his little stump of him.
I like it because I like the interplay between Star-Lord and Thor.
And Thor, yes.
The way that they kind of challenge
back
each
and forth.
other.
Yeah, dude.
Well,
that was funny.
but obviously Thor would just wreck him easily. So it's like,
I know,
yeah,
but the
well,
way
I mean-
that Star-Lord is so goofy and he feels like he has to be the
he's
one
like
in
so
charge.
he's like all jealous. Like the minute
Yeah,
Thor pops
Well,
up.
if he had a
Yeah.
celestial
When
powers, do you
Drag-
think he'll have a chance with Thor?
Oh.
Because he was a celestial before.
Now-
I mean, he can
Yeah.
basically do anything when he has that power, when he has that capability. So
Yeah.
The real question is Thor going to be in the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie?
Damn.
He should
will.
be.
He should. They're going to go back and
He
forth.
should be full on in there.
Yes.
I really like the dynamic. I mean, it's weird, but he fits him perfectly to me. So I hope Thor is in a Guardians of Galaxy.
Well,
We would like
we'll
to
see
see
what
that jumping
Gunn
back and
does,
forth
right?
with them, especially since they're cosmic characters. It's a good way to go back and forth on them. And then, well, I mean, there's a lot of things going on with Thor. Christian Bale, confirmed villain. He's going to be playing Gore.
That's right. You were saying that last
Yeah,
time.
So weird.
He's going to be wanting
I do
revenge.
feel like I
Revenge
can't
on the
see him as a villain.
Asgardians. Since
I
Hela
really
destroyed
can't.
his planet, killed his wife, killed his kids.
So, all
wants
right.
revenge.
So that was his wife. He's the wife of
well,
Helen.
Hela
Hela.
is Thor's sister. So she
Yeah, I know that's
basically
Thor's
destroyed the
sister.
planet
Yeah.
that he was in, and he just wants revenge on the Asgardians.
Okay.
Christian Bale's a great actor.
great actor.
Yes.
Very
Very
it's
good.
funny. His Bruce Wayne isn't even his best role. He's done way better.
He's done way
American
better.
Psycho.
movies. American
Yeah.
Psycho is
Psycho
one of
the
the best.
Glorious.
machinist. The machinist
The
is great.
Machinist, yeah.
The
Yes.
Fighter.
The fighter.
So many good.
Tom Ford versus Ferrari. He just.
I
came
think
out
he
in
I haven't seen that one.
Dick
but I need
Cheney?
to catch it.
Vice,
Oh, yeah.
Dick
Dick
Cheney.
Cheney.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
already played a villain. There you go.
Well, I mean, American Psycho.
Yeah.
American Psycho.
Cheney,
he was a
American
villain
Psycho.
Too. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. He's actually a perfect choice for a villain. I'm surprised he hasn't been in one. Probably because
Yeah.
of Batman, but he
Soon,
hasn't been in one
soon.
sooner.
I think soon,
That's
especially
gonna
that
be
he's not
good,
playing
though.
Batman anymore, and there's no talks of him reprising some sort of role like that.
I doubt it.
What do
Well,
you-
especially
what-
like you're saying, he's being the villain now in the new Thor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's
It's gonna
something
be
already.
interesting.
That's not something.
What do y'all
that's a
think
lot.
of Natalie Portman becoming the woman Thor?
Ugh.
I could
don't
take it
know.
or leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm indifferent.
I'm
I'll
iffy.
see.
I'm iffy about it. Yeah, I'm not sure
She
how
will
to
forever
take
be
it.
Padme.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad that they're bringing her
That's
back.
horrible.
I'm glad that they're bringing her back, but I don't know about how they're trying to
Anakin, you're
convert her
killing
into,
me.
you know, Lady Thunder, right? They're turning her into Lady Thunder.
I believe so. Yes.
We'll see. I mean, I'll go and watch it with an open mind, but it's not a high priority. I'm not.
Well,
gonna be
I've also been
first in
hearing that
line.
it's gonna be the exact same concept as Ragnarok. So we're gonna have the exact same like what is it, comedy in it. So it's gonna be a pretty good
Well,
movie to
especially
watch.
with the cameos of the Guardians coming out, like you're
Who's
saying,
directing
too.
it?
I'll look
that
that
I
up for you.
don't
right now.
know.
It's not-
It's not.
I can't-
Taiki. What?
Taiki, yeah.
Is
I
it-
can't
yeah, he's
pronounce his
directing it,
name.
right?
Taiki Waititi.
Yeah.
He just did Jojo Rabbit,
Yes.
and
That
I
one
think because
was-
he obviously
Yep, you're
directed
right.
Ragnarok. So
he's
Yeah.
okay. Then it's probably gonna be good.
Taika?
Yeah.
It's probably
yeah,
gonna be good
Ragnarok
if he's
was
directing
good.
it.
We'll see. A lot of destruction.
Yeah, dude.
Loki's supposed to make an appearance there, like I said. So we'll see how that goes.
Really
Evil.
quick, one off. Taiki, do you guys watch Rick and Morty? I hate to
Yes,
say
I
it.
love Rick and Morty.
I don't.
Mr. Macy.
My brother does. My little brother does.
You know, Taiki Waititi it was on Rick and Morty recently.
no, I
When
didn't.
the
know
last
that.
He's
no
in
way.
a character named Gloopy or something, the one who wants to develop an app. You have to check it out. It's funny. It's a new
that
season.
one is.
I'll
You
check
want to
that.
develop an app? You gotta
I'm gonna
watch
check-
it.
Yeah,
No, that's the one with Rick and the toilet, right?
Yeah.
And yes,
I've never been a
Yes.
big fan. But
Rick
I'm
and
gonna
Morty
have
is
to-
amazing. Y'all
I'm gonna
gotta
have to
watch
check it
that
out.
show.
My brother's the one who's into it, but he's always
It's
telling me,
good.
check it out. But
do you not like that?
It's not that I don't. That's
the
what I'm
hell is
saying.
wrong with you?
That's what I'm saying. It's not that I don't. I just haven't.
I mean,
checked
the
it out.
hype.
I haven't gave it the opportunity.
The hype in the beginning, yeah,
But
I did
then
not watch it.
there's
But
a
once
whole
I was
different
like, it died
topic,
down.
too.
I was like, let me
Yeah,
see, Rick.
yeah.
Let's go.
But there was something about the writer Mark and
Mm-hmm.
Rick and Morty too that made news, and that's something else. That's all.
That the comedic
yeah.
aspect of the show is gonna be portrayed in the
He
movie
doesn't
as well.
deserve
So you
this
know,
publicity. Now, but moving forward with DC and Marvel movies, comic. Well, let's say movies, TV series wise, who do you think has a better chance or a better position moving forward?
Marvel's already set on their next 5 to 10 years. As
Next
for
two
DC, we don't
phases,
really we don't really know what they're
Keeping
everything's under wrap.
scraps,
We don't know what's going on with them. So they have the ability to move forward, just especially if they hit us with something that's very unexpected.
But I feel like DC is starting to hit their stride. Like,
Yeah.
the last couple movies are really good. Wonder Woman was really good.
Wonder
We don't
Woman.
talk about Justice League. Aquaman was really good.
Aquaman was really
Shazam
good.
was a breath of fresh air. But they don't really have a whole lot planned. Like, the only things I think they have like in development is Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2.
Supposedly they're
the
working
Batman.
on the
Batman.
Yeah, the
Can't leave
Batman.
that out. That's their
They're
biggest
doing.
one.
I heard
the
they're
way to
also
attract
working
everybody.
Flashpoint too for Flash.
Dude, I think
Well,
that-
they have been
are
working
they?
on that for like ever. Like
They've been
3-4
wanting.
They've been
years.
talking about it, yeah.
And then they've
So
been
I
switching
don't even know if
directors,
Ezra. I don't even know if
writers.
Ezra Miller is gonna reprise his role.
I think he is though.
You
I
didn't
think
hear
he
about-
is.
He should.
They say he is.
I don't
but-
think he is because he wanted to take the character in a little darker direction, and him and a friend, I believe, started working on a script for the Flash
Ooh.
that the studio rejected.
Really?
And I think he
might
was
go
giving some
indie?
kind of ultimatum, like you either do it like we do, because he didn't want to do a
Their
stupid version of the
version, yeah.
Flash.
Yeah.
Because DC movies live actions have fucked up.
Yeah.
Badly.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely,
Very,
dude.
really
Definitely.
badly.
That's why they don't stand a chance
Justice
with Marvel
League.
right now.
I would say they're in a better position to move forward only because Marvel, I wouldn't say it's peaked, but we already know what to expect from Marvel. They've already blown people away. They're a
Mhm.
fucking box office juggernaut. Every movie,
Yes.
almost everything they make makes like $1 billion.
And they have all these shows in their pipeline, and then all these other movies in
They were
development. And
They were
it's-
careful with it. They were smart. They didn't rush to get to the. They didn't blow their load right away. They didn't rush to get all to the big characters. I mean, the fact that they opened up with Iron Man, who is a lesser known. I mean, if you're into comic books, you know who Iron Man is. But a
Yeah.
lesser known
Yes.
character.
He's
Yeah.
a founding member of the Avengers. Like,
But
still.
now Iron Man is almost as big as Spider-Man, or
Mhm.
just equal as big as Batman, as
Yep.
Superman. So they took characters that were second fiddle, like superheroes,
or
and
even
made
like
them mainstream.
Guardians 2.
Yeah.
Guardians 2
Guardians-
was a risk at the time.
Oh, Guardians is great though.
Yeah,
Guardians
Guardians were
was
great.
good.
Top 3 MCU movies, Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know where in there, but top 3,
First or
possibly
second?
I
top
like
2.
their volume mix.
Maybe the best.
Oh, the
Yeah.
volume mix.
I like their volume mix. The volume 1 mix.
I believe I have the cassette at home. You know
Great
their sound-
soundtrack.
The
Yeah,
way
very
they,
great soundtrack.
The opening of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is probably
Very,
my
very
best.
70s, 80s influence.
Come and get your love.
I think what makes them cool is that they don't feel like any other group of superheroes out there. They are something unique. They bring
They're the
something a lot,
outcasts.
yeah, something
Yeah.
a lot different. When you're watching
Definitely.
Guardians, you don't get the same feeling that you would get watching the
The
Avengers,
Avengers, right.
or
Mhm.
X-Men or something like that. It's
Exactly.
its own unique flavor.
Yeah.
And it's a whole team. So you always see them together.
And like you were saying the other day too, right, James? That DC does have not major things going on, but they do have their DC.
Their animated
Their
movies.
animated
fucking
Yes,
cool,
that,
right?
they
Yeah.
got animated series for days. That's for
It's
sure.
on their
More than
app,
Marvel,
right? It's
I
on their
believe.
app.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
everything is on there.
If
Damn,
any
dude.
anybody, if you're behind on those DC movies, get the DC Universe app. It is fucking worth it. I watched I can't even keep track of how many good animated movies I saw in there.
Right.
Like
See,
all the Batman,
I feel like if they
Superman,
promoted
that
Justice
more-
League, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash.
Yeah, they have a lot of good stuff on
Yeah,
there.
they
So much
promoted
good
that
stuff.
more. I feel like they would be not in a better position, but they'll be catching up to Marvel. You know what I'm saying? But they're
Yeah.
not. They don't do the
They
promotion.
just need more
the
exposure
same.
to everything.
I feel like there's more
Exactly.
potential though, because we already know what Marvel's capable
Mhm.
of, and we've done most of the big ones already. We've already done the big Endgame. We've dealt with Thanos. We've had all of the characters together. We finally got Spider-Man in, and I think they're going to continue on their groove. So I don't know if that's necessarily. I don't think it's going to get like, oh, it's even better than it was before. I think they're just going to go steady. I feel like DC has a chance to pop out of the box more.
That's why
Yeah. They're
I agree
slowly
with you on
building
that.
up.
Yeah.
Bec-
And I think they're finally learning how to get their formula because DC and Marvel are completely different universes and they shouldn't have a similar approach to them. They're
No,
worlds
very
apart.
different.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
Exactly.
if you see it, when you see Marvel movies, it's all lollipoppy and explosion and colorful stuff. As when you see DC, you see the dark. It's always raining, nighttime.
I feel like DC takes its mythology a little more seriously.
Mhm.
I guess that's why I've always gravitated to DC Comics and the writers
The
there.
concepts
and
are
the
very
concepts
great,
here,
yes.
but Marvel's great too. They're
But I
both
agree with
awesome.
you,
No, of
James,
course.
when you were saying how DC could pop out of nowhere.
Mhm.
Because like you say, Marvel, you saying they shouldn't fall off. You know, as long as they keep it steady, they might not, like you say, get better than what they are right now. But we do have expectations of them right now.
Yes,
So we
very
See,
true.
they
expect
have-
them. See, so we have expectation, and that's kind of like a
That's
backfall.
bad.
Exactly.
That
It could
could
be
backfire.
a backlash.
Yes.
Exactly.
See-
It could be a backlash because we had the expectations,
Be-
and if they don't live up to them,
You get one movie that
That's-
flops, and there it goes.
And see, DC,
and
they had
people will
nowhere
start
to go.
questioning. They have nowhere to go up.
Mhm.
But
DC
up. I
has
feel
nowhere
like
to go but up right now.
Marvel could go down
Yes,
conceivably.
that's what.
I mean,
Because
it's probably
we spoke about
what's
that
probably
last
going to happen
episode,
is it's probably
You
going to happen
can't-
is just like the way of the Western, just like how great Westerns were going, and then all of a sudden, like
At some
that
point,
bubble's going to burst.
At some
Yeah.
point, we don't know when the point is going to be, but superhero movie bubbles might burst at some point. And
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think it'll
will.
be
Yeah,
It
Marvel.
will,
They
but not
need
not
that.
for a while.
No, I think they got a while for it.
Mhm.
But at some point, it might. I just feel like since Marvel has set such high expectations, there's a lot of chance for them to go downward. And
Oh, yeah.
since
Of
DC
course.
set such low expectations that when they produce something good, you're
all
like,
they can is go
wow,
all the way
they
up.
could just go up. They have nowhere to go but up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree with y'all. I agree with y'all.
You just need that one good franchise, and they'll blow
Mhm.
you straight up.
Definitely.
We
All
need to
right.
figure out what to do with Superman.
So getting
Yes.
into
Or just overall good
Oh,
Justice League.
definitely.
again.
Yeah.
yeah, but anything can happen with everything right now.
Mhm.
That's the
Right.
way I feel.
Very
Yeah,
much.
me
That's the
too.
way- Anything can happen with
And
everything.
expect the unexpected, guys.
Yeah, well
We
said.
don't
That's
know.
exactly what I said. So moving into our last topic for the night, how do you? Oh, I'll start with you, Nick. It's a topic for everybody. But who was what superhero did you try being as a little kid?
Probably more so Spider-Man. Just so that it was either between Spider-Man or Batman, but I think just because like being a kid and we were closest in age to Spider-Man, and he was the only one that was like a teenager or like young or like early adult, like amongst other people or amongst the world of like other
Yeah.
people that were like just grown adults. He had that carefree attitude, that attitude of a kid. But he also had these like amazing powers and amazing abilities. Plus me, I was always into like acrobatics and gymnastics. So I would see like Spider-Man with his agility, like doing amazing stuff. So I was always like trying my hardest to like train and be like him. So it was more so with the fact of like his powers and what he was able to do. That's why I tried my hardest like to like I would have said if there was any hero I would have emulated, it probably would have been Spider-Man.
I wasn't flexible enough to be Spider-Man.
Really quick, your favorite hero is Nightwing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think
him
that
and-
totally makes sense
Yeah.
that Spider-Man is who you would have emulated growing
Because
up.
they're-
Because
they
they're
have
closer
similarities.
in
Yeah.
personalities.
Plus in abilities, it's just obviously Spider-Man is
the
like
compassion that they have with
yeah.
with the
But
Makes
as
a
far
lot of
as like
sense.
their like philosophies, their personalities, and a lot of their abilities, minus like Spider-Man is obviously superhuman, but they're pretty similar in a lot of ways. So I think that's
Mhm.
why like when
He's
I
not
got
too super.
That's-
Yes.
Makes
when
sense.
I got older and started reading more Batman stuff, I really started gravitating towards Nightwing for that
Makes
same
sense.
reason.
Cool. How about you, Josh?
yeah, the same
Who-
way Spider-Man, but like I
Spidey.
said, I wasn't flexible enough. So Batman, and mostly all my baby pictures that I see, I always have Batman rating on. So Batman all the way. Yeah, just basically the way he said it, they were more realistic characters that you could find something to attach yourself to with. As Superman, you can't fly. I
Can
wouldn't
you-
try to jump off a roof.
It's funny how you say
What
that,
little
dude.
kid can honestly say they feel like Superman?
Dude, I was me, dude.
That
Really?
was-
Dude, I'm not.
You could try, but you're gonna like break your leg.
That's what it said. Who did you try to emulate, right? So I'm saying
Yeah.
who were what superhero
I
were
tried
you?
to
It's
know
saying,
all.
well,
I
who'd you
mean,
try to be? You know,
Superman is so unrelatable that I never envisioned myself as somebody like Superman.
Dude.
It just I loved Superman as a kid, but that was like something so far off that I was like, you like it from a distance. You love the character and everything, but it's not something you could ever picture emulating.
Yeah, like I knew I couldn't fly. I knew I wasn't couldn't
I would hope
take
so.
a bullet. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy because there was times because I even cracked my head trying to be little Superman and
Oh,
stuff. You
God.
know, dude.
Damn.
But it's a funny.
Wait, how did that happen?
Were you wearing a
I-
cape and all?
I want to hear this.
I did. It was a towel. It was a towel, dude. Fresh out the shower. Had my Superman undies, dude. My mom's
Oh,
working
God,
in the room,
man.
bro. And I put the towel on, right? It's one of those big long towels. I'm like, okay, dude. I tie it around me so dude neck, right? Fits perfectly. Dude, I'm running down the hallway all the time. And then you know how these walls, the sharp angles, and not sharp, but the angles are solid angles.
Mhm.
Dude, so it's just a hallway, a little hallway. So it's a hallway, then there's a hallway door. little gap, dude. So I would just run down the hallway, jump over the edge of the couch, right, with my right hand. Boom! I did that like 20 times, dude. The 21st try, I leaned too close to the wall. Boom! Hit it on the edge, cracking it, dude. I was trying to be Superman, just trying to fly. I wasn't.
This is why kids should not use Superman as a model.
Hey, I had no shame about it. I have a scar to prove it too, y'all. I really do have a scar to prove
Probably
it.
still wear your underwear.
How about you? No,
that's
they got bloody. They had to throw them away, bro.
Too obvious for me. It was Batman because I used to take my grandfather and my father's like button-up shirts and their flannels as a kid, and I used to wear it to the store and around the house. I used to at the grocery stores when I was checking out at the cash register, I would tell the people, I was like, I'm Batman and my mom is the Joker. No, my mom is Catwoman, my dad's the Joker, and we live in Gotham City. I used to do this thing because on Batman the animated series, when he'd be the end of the opening titles, he'd be standing on the roof like that.
And the lightning.
I would wear the cape in the sunlight and like try to look at my reflection to see if it looked cool, like it was flapping.
Just see the wings there.
Oh man!
But funny enough, even though I always thought I was Batman as a kid, I never was Batman for Halloween. I was Spider-Man for Halloween.
Spider-Man.
And my dad made like stuffing to like put the muscles up and make me look like a buff Spider-Man.
Dude,
so
that's funny. All right, so Spider-Man,
I had that thrift store Batman,
Superman.
Mexican looking
All right.
costume.
So yeah,
the Mexican looking costume.
Yeah, it's not even black; it's all gray.
That's funny, yeah. So all right, that's all we have for tonight.
Yep.
I thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you
to
guys
the
for joining
Heroes
us.
and Mutants
Thank you
podcast.
guys.
Yeah, thanks
so
guys.
much.
Subscribe, hit the like button. If you guys have any suggestions that you would like for us to talk to in the next one, don't be scared to comment down below. We'll
any
read 'em.
topics that you might be interested in and you think we could discuss?
Yeah, of course. We'll love to give you guys any feedback or anything.
And give you guys some shout outs too for providing us some topics and content to give you guys.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Also follow Higher Passion
on
Following,
IG.
Yeah, on IG.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for
All
tuning
right,
in.
guys,
Thank you
have
guys
a
for
good
joining
night.
us.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Guys.